me tell you, I recorded this on time. I did, but just wasn't right. So I got my new mic and everything, but my damn necklace was shaking on it. So every time I was talking, it was so loud. It was so bad. So here I am now, late, recording this lovely video on emotional dependency. Um, and what's crazy, I had a whole breakthrough in the video. And then in the midst of that, I had like a moment where I was like, F this, pretty much. So again, here I am recording it on some secondhand interest. But long story short, all I had to say for emotional dependency is basically, y'all, we got to stop. My emotional dependency is based on my parents, and it is more rooted in the sense of like disappointment if I don't make a decision that they like, or feel as though that I'm not getting the validation I need from them. And when I posted the questions for this topic, I did see one person, I love you so much, thank you so much for commenting, agreed, and is in the same boat. And I think that that's more of a cultural thing too that I've been aware of. Um, at least you see it a lot with minority cultures, where we are constantly in a state of feeling as though our parents just hold so much weight when it comes to this emotional dependency. And you know what? No, that's on me. I'm jumping ahead. So the question that was commented on is for this week's video, this Saturday's video, which is fucking speaking the hell up. That's what this week is. And that was the comment that went with it. However, because everything ties together and we are doing mental health, that's exactly what it kind of talks about. So to loop back around, ultimately, we have too much pressure put on our parents in the sense of why do they hold so much weight on us, especially once we reach a certain age and we're capable of doing our own shit. But that's neither here nor there, right? So my other version of emotional dependency was really going to talk about being the person that is dependent on, and I've experienced that too, having someone depend on me for emotions that I'm not here for. That's not my responsibility. And that's something that I am definitely more nonchalant about, right? So when I first recorded this, I had a little bit more empathy. Now I do not. And I don't because I feel like it's not something we need to tiptoe around. Let's just get straight to it. There's no reason why you should be the person that someone is emotionally dependent on, unless you're that parent, obviously. And that's just something. And the only reason I say that's the exception is because you grow up depending on them. So if you have some type of emotional connection, you have some type of emotional bond that you can't release right away, it's natural, it's normal. However, if you are some random person that you've met in your life and they depend on you emotionally, that is heavy, that is not their responsibility, and it is so much that goes into your mental awareness that you need to work on, that is going to need to be addressed. Sorry, I'm working on something over here. um and what comes with that was holding on to everything that I said and looking to me for validation. And it's like, damn, okay, when I experience that, I can see how I'm projecting that to someone else, and the need of self regulation in order to disconnect from my parents, right? So having that experience allowed me to really understand where I needed to go. But it also reminded me of the things that I have experienced in order to feel the need to be emotionally dependent. So I say all that to say, understanding where someone else comes from is one thing, but putting yourself in their shoes is another. And realizing the things that you may be doing, right? So something else that I noticed when I was writing these notes for this was it's not just people, it could also be things. So we're sitting here putting emotional dependency on some things that you never wanted to just get rid of, right? And it's weird as you get an adult and you see those things. Like when we grew up, we had maybe a teddy bear or a favorite toy. If Chewy don't shut the hell up and scaring my baby, hang on, I'm back. My bad. Yo, that damn dog has been stressing me out for the longest. Sorry. He's been doing a lot lately, but nevertheless, we have things that we are emotionally tied to, right? And what I was saying was how when we were younger, we had like our teddy bears, we had their favorite toy that we wanted to go everywhere with. Mine was Dolly. She didn't have any toes, she didn't have any fingers, and she had fingernail polish in her mouth because that was my baby. And the emotional tie was security. So now when you think about somebody that's older, you don't quite connect some physical thing that's emotionally tying, right? But people do have these things. And I can say for me now, it's a good pen. Okay. Work with me. And what I mean by that as an adult is you cannot move forward or progress in life unless you have that thing. You don't feel valuable. You don't feel accomplished. You don't feel like you are capable of doing the things you need to naturally do from your day to day without these things. For me, it was a pen. It was a very specific pen. And when I kind of think about this, it's funny now, but I would get so frustrated, so overwhelmed, so just irritated if I didn't have this pen that it would stop my entire day. Okay. Now, as I move forward through this, right, I have the understanding of false mental illness. Okay. I'm going to say this is my opinion, take it or leave it, right? I do not agree with the current state of mental health. So, you guys know that this is something I'm studying for now. For now, y'all, I'm tired. But this is something I'm studying. And part of me studying this is understanding that there is true mental health. I have met a couple people in my life that actually have mental illness. And to get in this world where people just throw it out there like they're depressed or they have anxiety for a bad day bothers the hell out of me. It bothers me because it's a false sense of mental health. It is, you are just having a bad day. And I do think, personally speaking, not saying I grew up in the hardest times or I was raised with the hardest circumstances, but I feel like my childhood was a little bit harder than what people nowadays have to deal with. So for me to say, okay, there are certain things that I had to endure that people nowadays don't have to endure at all, and to hear the mental state that people think that they're in for, again, a bad day or just a moment or just, something, a transitional period, it's mind-boggling to me. Because again, we meet these people that actually go through this shit every day, that are incapable of getting through to the next hour, and here we are saying, okay, I'm depressed because I can't pay my bills this week. You might be a little pissed off, you might be a little stressed, but I wouldn't say that's a level of depression, right? So in my class right now, like I think I've told you guys, we're learning about cultural diversity. And part of that is understanding that various cultures may not experience mental illness, right, on a spectrum level, but they do have moments of mental depletion. And that is what we have as normal people that are just going through life. We have mental health depletion. If you need to go talk to somebody about it and be like, let me tell you about these bills that I can't pay because my boss doesn't want to give me a raise, that is fine. There is room for that. But to connect some emotional dependency to a categorized mental health issue is the problem. We cannot depend on sympathy or just an excuse of mental illness in order to move through our life. And I think that that is something that we are constantly doing. And then we're seeking this help and creating this behavior that if I say that I have something wrong with me, I can get all the help I need. I can get all the sympathy I need. I can make an excuse for myself to not accomplish more than what I'm capable of doing now, and just take whatever falls in our lap later that gets us out of that state. It's just get on my nerves. I ain't gonna lie to you. And again, I'm not speaking to the people that actually experience things, that have been diagnosed with things, that actually are going through a struggle. It takes away from these people when we are out here just throwing it around like it's a hot cake. It's ridiculous. I understand. I am a very anxious person. I don't know if I have anxiety. I am just not the person to go seek it out. I can say that I can acknowledge within my life when I'm having an anxiety. I don't want to say attack, but just a very high anxious moment, high anxiety moment. And I am very paranoid. However, I don't know if I'm having anxiety, and I'm okay with that. But I also know life ain't gonna stop. Nobody is gonna hold my hand as I get through different stages of my life. I have to be capable of getting through them without that help. So, what do you do? As a normal person that may just be having a bad day, understanding your transitional periods, right? We talked about that in the last video. We go through a state of confidence building when we are understanding our transitional periods, and that is okay. So me knowing I may be going through a transition period, like I said, I'm trying to figure out my life with work. Okay. I have my dreams, I have my passions that I'm building. However, I don't know what I'm doing long term. I do, but I don't, right? If this takes off, I got this. But that requires me to go through a transition because I'm trying to relearn myself, relearn my situation. That is okay. That does not mean I'm depressed. It does not mean I have anxiety. It does not mean that I am bipolar. It does not mean that I'm schizophrenic, any of it. It just means shit's tough right now. I'm stressed out. It may make me a little sad. It may make me a little angry. It may make me feel like I'm up and down one day and just all over the place. That's part of it. That's a normal human reaction. So, with all that being said, this video really had nothing else to say about it. I am not big on sympathy. And I think when I created this section, I intended to be more empathetic. That's not me. I'm not. And I think that's another reason why I'm considering not doing counseling. Um, just because it's not in my nature. And there's nothing wrong with that. But because I can acknowledge that it's not in my nature, I need to exit now. I need to just leave y'all alone, let y'all be with somebody that is going to be kind to you, talk to you about your life, and go through the motions because that's not me. I am big on holding you accountable. If you are full of shit, you are full of shit, and I'm going to tell you you are full of shit. However, I do have my moments where I understand because I'm not perfect. I go through things just like you do. And that's exactly why I do these videos, is because I want to make sure you know you're not alone. However, let me be frank one more time. I do not do this empathy thing. I cannot keep going through the same cycle of giving someone something that they think they need all the time. It's very weird to me. But all that to be said, sorry, I'm still looking at the class I'm in. I say all that to say, work through your shit. Understand if you're in a transitional period, understand your triggers, understand the things that you are tied to emotionally that could be keeping you back. But it is okay if you are still not sure, if you don't know how to work through it. But please don't sit here and say that you are somewhere that you're not. Just understand it may be a moment. If you're still going through it, I definitely think you need to go find somebody. Okay? Look at my face. You need to go find somebody to talk to and let them decide that. But when we get in this state of constantly tying something to us, y'all, it's not worth it. But I'm excited to be here with y'all. Okay. New things are coming in April, so please make sure you stay tuned at the last video for March. However, it is Women's History Month. I didn't get to tell y'all on the first like I had planned to, but it is the 4th, so I'm going to tell you now. It is a Women's History panel that is coming on the 30th. I'm super excited. I'll be recording that with them soon. Every Monday, like I said, we do have some posts that are coming up. This Monday in particular, today, is going to be a women's history trivia on my live. I think we're going to do it on my Facebook page. It'll probably be the Just Jasa, the host page. I did just change it. It's no longer Just Jasa vlog. It is Just Jasa, the host. And that'll all tie together come April, y'all. So just be prepared for that. But that is where I will be doing it. We will be doing a live, going through some fun little trivia facts within women's history. So please join in, come over and talk with me. Let's do these questions. And that's pretty much it for this month. Like I said, it's Women's History. So we will be going through it. I'm super excited to be providing this panel. The last one was such a success. I absolutely love the topics we talked about and just diving into cultural things that we really don't expect women, especially women of color, to have opinions on. But as always, I am Jasa. This is Just Jasa, and this is our late emotional dependency video.